Is your Raynaud's flaring up way more often than you would like? Stick around. We're going to talk about the top 5 triggers and how to avoid them. I also have a bonus tip at the end, but let's just get into it. Hey everybody, my name is Mary, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel where I talk about all things Raynaud's. I've had this condition for well over 10 years and I've been navigating it the best that I can, and I'm here to share all the things that I've learned and to create a community where we can share tips and tricks with each other. So if that's what you're into, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and let's just get into it. Number 1. Okay, so obviously everybody's going to say cold, but did you know that cold isn't the only thing that really triggers the Raynaud's? It's also the change in the temperature. And my personal experience is that that is a bigger issue than the temperature itself. And also going outside is typically what comes to mind when people think about cold temperatures, but don't forget that going into air conditioning can be just as difficult if you have Raynaud's. So some obvious tips to try to manage the cold, the temperature, the change in temperature is always carry things like a cardigan or a sweater. I also carry battery operated hand warmers. Sometimes I'll even have those little shaky hot hands, but my philosophy here is you cannot control the temperature, and sometimes you can't necessarily control the environment that you need to put yourself in, but you can be as prepared as possible, right? So always have a sweater, a jacket, warming things, just anything and anything that you think you might potentially need for the situation that you're going into. Could even be a blanket, even a blanket at the office. I used to keep blankets at my office all the time. Number 2 is stress. And I feel like this is one that people don't necessarily think about. We always go to weather first. We go to temperature first, but stress is known to trigger Raynaud's. Stress constricts blood vessels, and it just basically is the perfect storm to say, hey, let's have a Raynaud's attack right now. If you find yourself in this type of a situation, best advice is to just try to stay calm. Deep breathing, often meditation helps. If you find that you are just a high stress individual, sometimes incorporating walks, yoga, other de-stressing, low stress types of activities can certainly be helpful. The third trigger, cold drinks. Whether you're grabbing an energy drink or a beer or an iced coffee, oh my gosh, the number of times that individuals will experience Raynaud's just from holding these cold beverages is insane. It also doesn't help that when you're holding a cold beverage, it will often be condensating as well. So you've got dampness, you've got wet moisture, you've got cold something. So a couple quick tips that you can do to mitigate that. So number 1 would be avoid cold beverages, but for a lot of people, you kind of like an icy drink, right? Or you just like your iced coffee. So another option might be if you are at Starbucks, for instance, and you want that iced beverage, ask them to put it in a paper cup. It does give it just a little bit more warmth and insulation, and it doesn't condensate as much. Other things that you can do is use a koozie. So again, your hand feels a little bit warmer, less condensation as well. And then finally, use an insulated cup. It kind of seems like a no-brainer, but it really is helpful. It not only keeps your beverage cold on the inside, but it keeps your hands, dry, and there's a level of insulation there where the things that are really cold in the container, in the cup, are not super cold on your hands. So it's a little bit of an extra something to just provide a barrier and still let you enjoy your icy beverage. Another trigger is certain medications. So things like beta blockers or even some over-the-counter cold medicines can exacerbate symptoms. So it might not necessarily trigger a Raynaud's attack, but it can definitely make it a little bit longer, a little bit more intense. So you're going to want to check the warnings on packages on any sort of medication that you take, and potentially even talk to your doctor about it as well. Number 5. Now this one's a little weird, but it is oddly common. Vibrations. So construction workers will often experience Raynaud's-like symptoms from holding tools or things that vibrate for an extended period of time. Often if somebody's maybe working on home improvement projects, I know when I use our leaf blower, for a long period of time, or if I'm cutting the grass and I'm like using the walking mower, just that vibration like makes my hands numb and it can trigger an attack as well. Mountain biking or biking in general, just sort of anything where like your hands are on something that vibrates for a while can trigger an attack. So they do make anti-vibration gloves. If you have tried those, I'm super curious to know if they work. I've never tried them myself. My best tip for that is to take breaks. I mean, when I'm cutting the lawn, I will literally start to feel the weird tingly vibrations and I'll start to get rainouts. I just take a pause. I'll go inside, I'll get a coffee, I'll grab a drink of water, and I'll just take a pause and kind of like give my body a break. But it's kind of like a weird trigger, right, for rainouts. Okay, here's that little bonus tip. So did you know that emotional extremes can also trigger a Raynaud's attack? So often if somebody's very excited or very angry or very stressed, they will experience a Raynaud's attack, and it might not have anything to do with the physical environment that they are in. Speaking from personal experience, I know both times I had my last two kids right after I'd given birth, and you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, right? But the room was nice and warm. I experienced Raynaud's attacks, and it was the weirdest thing, like holding a newborn baby and kind of like not having full circulation in my hands, but really I was just super excited about the entire experience. So just try to be mindful about your emotions when you can, to try to mitigate any type of triggers from that extent. So I'm always so curious, now that you know the top 5 plus a little bonus trigger that often makes Raynaud's happen in individuals, is this on par for you? Do you have other things that specifically trigger your Raynaud's? Everybody's different. We all have different experiences with it. So if you have something else that kind of like brings yours to the forefront, please share it in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. I really do hope that this video helped you. As always, subscribe, hit the like button. Would love to have you around here for all the Raynaud's content, and I would love to be able to help you manage your condition. The next video is going to talk about some very specific products that can help you in any type of situation. So stay tuned, click ahead. We'll see you next time. Stay warm.